All right, let's do this as I pick my eye in front of all of you. Well, I hope that my internet doing its stupidity on Fridays for some reason had already done its stupidity because it interrupted a game of Overwatch. Not like that's a bad thing. It would be a bad thing for my exchange friend Scott from Suplex Music. He loves that game. He was on as well. I got to come up with something better to do. Beria, there you are. All right, Beria. What's happening, man? Guys, they're my guys. They're my guys. Missed you guys. Last week was pretty interesting. Last week I was talking about Resident Evil Requiem. Good, good, good. I want you all to be doing fantastically. Happy Friday. And last week my internet went out, so it only went on for 15 minutes. I was talking for another 22 minutes, but I talk to myself a lot, so that makes no difference. Today, it's cloudy. Last week, guys, was so bright that the backlighting it glared in so much that it darkened everything. Now it's been raining the last few days, but it has not been snowing anymore. Requiem is tremendous. Tremendous. I'm having a great time with it. And don't forget, because I'm a Switch 2 guy only, I got 3 games, baby. 3, yeah. I got the gold versions, gold edition of this and this Village. Now, Biohazard I played a bunch of times. I never played the DLC, though. By a bunch of times, I mean I played it twice. I played it on the cloud version. I played it originally on PlayStation 4 when I had PlayStation 4, back when I was in my strange satanic days. Yeah, I never played Raccoon City, to be honest with you. Never did. There are so many games, so many Resident Evil games I did not play, including the seemingly turn-based strategy Game Boy game. Yeah, I figured as much. If Gaia says so, then I know it's true. But yeah, there was a video game, because I watched virtually every single one. There were a couple of, what's that thing, House of the Dead ripoffs that they did. That one was kind of the precursor to 4. Forgot what they were called. Hey, what's up there? Oh, it's Cheryl. There she goes. Live, love, laugh, baby. How are you? Yeah, so there was that one that it was Kai Krauser and Leon Kennedy. They were hanging together. Did you do anything today? Liv, did you do anything? I haven't seen anything. No updates on my channel. And I am subscribed to you, so I don't know what. Then again, I'm subscribed to a lot of channels, and oh, good. Yeah, I'm subscribed to a lot of channels that don't show me anything. I don't get any updates on them. But yeah, there was that one, and there was another one that was like it. But it was a mission that Krauser had with Leon in, I think, Brazil or something. And there was another one that was on a boat. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. But if you accidentally scroll over something, you'll get a million suggestions. And then you go, but why did you suggest it in the first place? I was looking for anything like it. But, it's like all that anti-Nintendo crap that keeps popping up on my channel. I didn't ask for it. I didn't want it. But it keeps coming up. And I'm not subscribed to any of those people. Every now and then I'll get an update from one of my subscribers. I actually have to go to subscriptions and find it. And on top of that, like today, for instance, I was going through just doing my thing, getting ready for this. Excuse me. And I got another one of these suggestions about how Nintendo games are boring. And I'm going, no, I think you're an idiot. No, in fact, you are an idiot because you don't know what you're talking about. But that keeps happening on my channel. I keep telling YouTube I'm not interested, and it doesn't matter. But yeah, there was another one where they're on a ship. It was 2 characters I never saw before or after, man and a woman. There are a bunch of Resident Evil games I never played. I did try to play, was it Raccoon City? Which one was the one where it was like an online multiplayer almost, and you had to run around Raccoon City? It might have been that, and you just played as random people. That was the one that had the guy that kept going, the bleeding won't stop. The bleeding won't stop. He kept saying that. You could call out to each other. That one I played. Okay, no, then it wasn't that. Yeah, it wasn't that one. And it's funny because three of the more popular or the newer ones are first person shooters. Now, Requiem switches between. When you're Leon, it's third. When you're Grace, when you're Grace, you only do first person, but you can turn that to third person. I will not change anything at this point. I don't mind first person perspectives. I don't mind third person perspectives. I can say that Requiem is friggin' difficult as hell. That I can tell you. It is very hard. That's what she said. It leads you to many deaths. You will die a lot. And a lot of it too is because when you play as Grace, she has no real. It's supposed to be more about sneaking around. Throwing bottles doesn't do jack shit. I'm not even into the whole concept of that and stealth missions and everything. The stealth done with Resident Evil is done right, where you could just kind of get away from everything. And although it hasn't been officially revealed by my playthrough, I know that giant creature they call the girl is the young lady that was taken from her bedroom or whatever. No, it doesn't. And that's why it's not as good as Village. That is my love. And all her daughters, quote unquote daughters. I can't pronounce her name. I'll hear that name pronounced a million times and I still will not be able to pronounce it. Later, I have no idea how to pronounce it. But dear God, I'm in love with that woman. And so, like I was saying, this week has been very rainy. It's warming up. It's not going to stay warm like this, but it's not going to be freezing again. It didn't snow a lot. So that's all I care about. However, because I can't avoid tragedy, I had to send my car to the shop on Wednesday morning because it's a brand new car, 9 months old. It's a 2025. Bought it, paid in full. And then I go to my car Wednesday morning while I'm doing my workout. I walk around the neighborhood. And I turn the car on and it tells me I have to check my engine. Check engine light goes on. So for me, my response, because I don't know that much about cars, when I see check engine, I take it to the shop. So I took it to the dealership and I got it back yesterday afternoon. It seems to be working a lot better, but I'm just going, man, you gave me a faulty part, didn't you? So hopefully that's been taken care of and I don't ever have to worry about the car again. Or at least for the next few years, several years. Let's say 7, 8, 9, 10, something like that. I barely drive. I go back and forth to work. That's it. And that's 3 days. So everything else I do here. But I wanted to talk to all you beautiful people, especially mentally beautiful. And we'll go back to Requiem. But I wanted to talk about the reason why I say, oh, yeah, want to give her the hot beef injection. Yeah, mine was the evaporation system. I noticed that the windshield would fog up a lot very easily. And it turned out that one of the caps was no good. I'm like, well, it couldn't have been anything I did. Like if it was the undercarriage, I can kind of understand because I've been running over fucking snow for the past few weeks. But anything under the hood, brand new car. What did I do? I don't touch anything. I haven't even opened the hood yet. So it must have been a faulty part. But I was saying that there was an indie showcase that Nintendo announced and showed us on Tuesday. It was a good show. 15 minutes, and I'll say it one more time. It's amazing to me how Nintendo in 15 minutes can show 3 times more games than Sony in like an hour and a half. It's just incredible to me. So when people say like, oh, the gaming industry is dying, yeah, Sony is dying, not Nintendo and not the gaming industry. Sorry to tell you that. But I laugh because for the past however many months, all I've been hearing is, yeah, no, it was nice. You guys tell me what I think the game that the company that made Guacamelee, is it? That game looks pretty interesting. The first person shooter looked pretty interesting, to be honest with you. I'm not really too big into roguelikes because I don't like losing progress, but that looked pretty interesting. I don't typically buy independent games. Hades 2, the Hades 1, Blasphemous, Game Kitchen's version of Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, those I'll get. Was it The Last Sin? Is that what it was called? That I got. That anything that reminds me of Metroid or Castlevania or both, I'll definitely get. But yeah, a lot of those games did look pretty good. But I found it hilarious because for so long, the past few months, these influencers, especially on Twitter, who make their entire bones on whether or not Nintendo is going to release anything. And I'm trying to get news so I can give it to you guys. That's really what it comes down to let you know what's happening. And then I give you my own rumors. I didn't do that. I haven't played any demos. That game's coming out soon, though, right? I know that Pragmata got pushed forward. So Pragmata was going to be released at the end of April. It's going to be released middle of April, April 15th now. I didn't play that demo either. I kind of want to get, there are so many games I'm thinking of getting. Well, I'm definitely going to get Fallout 4. That's without a shadow of a doubt. And of course, when Elder Scrolls 4 comes out, definitely going to get that one. That game, my friend and I absolutely obliterated. We played that game so many times. It was one of my favorite games. And, out of respect for what I did do, even though I can get the, what do you want to call it, platinum, the uranium version, whatever, of Skyrim, I'm just not into as much. Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion, I played like 1,000 times. Put so many hours. Now, to be fair, this was before I was introduced to things like Fire Emblem or even Mass Effect. But I still love that game. Now, I could play it again and go, eh. But there was a time where I was completely into that game. Yeah, no, listen, there's something about it. Even though it's a Bethesda game, it wasn't too shot to shit. Now, one of the things I don't like about Bethesda games is when you're done. Yeah, no, that's going to be something. It's going to be something. And don't forget, guys, remember what I said to you, partners. Bethesda is partnered with Nintendo. Partnered. They're not just going to make third party. Now, I don't know what else Bethesda can give you other than, StarCraft, whatever that thing's called. Never playing that. But if we can get the Elder Scrolls, well, we already have Skyrim. But Elder Scrolls 6, which was rumored like 15 years ago, if that ever comes out, that's going to come out on the Switch too. The re-release of Oblivion, Switch 2. What if they re-release Morrowind? I never played Morrowind. Looks pretty interesting. Switch 2. Switch 2 can handle anything now. Yeah, Doom Dark Ages, that should be coming out on the Switch 2 one of these days. When, I don't know. But it's definitely going to be slated for the Switch 2. But like I was saying, so what I laugh is that these influencers, these guys get paid a lot of money to come up with rumors and everything. They've been going on and on and on about an indie showcase now, or not an indie showcase, about a general direct, a big one that was going to give all these announcements and whatever. And the consensus is kind of like, well, Nintendo should for its fans and everything. I'm going to say this again. Nintendo doesn't have to, nor should they do anything, especially not out of any kind of necessity or desperation. Onimusha, let me see. Let me take a look. To be honest with you, I'm surprised Way of the Sword. Which one was this? Oh, this? Let's see. Who makes this? Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, it's Capcom. No, that's definitely coming out on the Switch too. Right now, it is just. Oh yeah, definitely. That'll be on the Switch too. I'm surprised it's not out already. Let me just say. It's unconfirmed. It's going to be on the Switch too. When was this? Okay, so this was right. They re-released. Oh yeah, definitely. Duh. They re-released it. How long ago was that? Yeah, I never played Onimusha, but it's not confirmed. But pretty much everyone's sure it's going to come out. It's Capcom. When did that come out? That came out this year, didn't it? That's what it said. And an Onimusha game has been out on the Switch. Yeah, it's. I don't think it's got a confirmed release. Yeah, it's not a confirmed release. Upcoming? Yeah, no. I'm surprised it hasn't been announced already. Yeah, no, I'm surprised. It's. I'm pretty sure it will be. I'd actually put money on it. Probably in the next direct, they probably will announce it. The next direct, whenever it will be, like it depends on when that was advertised, when that was originally announced. If it was recently, that doesn't make sense. But if it was before the Switch 2 was officially announced, it was like Oblivion. Oblivion came out last May. The Switch 2 hadn't come out yet. And then it was, oh yeah, by the way, it's coming out on the Switch 2. So, oh, it'll definitely be on the Switch 2. It'll definitely be on the Switch 2. As I said, there isn't a release date anyway. So most likely it'll be announced when the next direct is. Thank you for telling me about that because I didn't know what to really investigate or research on. I've been kind of like floundering right now, watching a bunch of stupid crap. I was gonna watch a playthrough of Pokemon Pocopia just to see because it's been getting all this hype, and I love when Nintendo exclusives get hype. 1 year ago, yeah, then definitely. That's why it hasn't been announced yet. It will be announced sooner rather than later. It will be announced. I'm surprised it hasn't been announced yet because of the partner showcase. But the partner showcase really only announced games that they were already confirmed to be coming out when. Like the partner showcases kind of. I know that Bethesda didn't announce when Elder Scrolls 4 was coming out, the re-release, but the fact that it was announced it was coming out for a title that big that doesn't seem to be like a Nintendo title, that was something that you kind of needed. Oh, I think Onimusha, I think because it's so connected to the Switch or Nintendo, I think it's kind of like a foregone conclusion. Maybe they haven't. It's like the same thing with Monster Hunter Wilds, where we know it's going to happen, we just don't know when. So probably Capcom not having a full idea of when it's going to be released hasn't really said anything. But I would be surprised. I'm sure it will. I guarantee it will. I mean, you look at what they're releasing day and date, right? Day one. So why not? It hasn't been released yet, so definitely why not? Like Dark Ages is another one that hasn't been announced, but we know it's going to happen. We know it's happening. It's just when. So unless they really have something that's concrete, I don't think they're going to announce anything. There are a few games that have been rumored right now. One is, why do I keep forgetting what this thing is called? It was an independent that somebody saw. They showed or they posted on Twitter them playing it on the Switch too. Oh god, I've been watching people play through it and I forget. It looks pretty interesting. And it's kind of like a sort of a bird's eye view action adventure role playing game type. Oh fuck me, what is that? I forgot what it was called. But anyway, oh hold on, I got an idea. Let me go to my YouTube channel. Amidst all my anime watching, and oh, there's another one from Nintendo Prime. There's my video. Let's go back to my history. Oh, there's my guy with his leaf blower. No rest for the wicked. That's the one. What is Nintendo announcing? Yeah, no, see, that's the thing you have to look out for too. They probably want to wait till expansions. Well, I don't think about Onimusha, but I think everything else. Like, I'll tell you this: what could be announced soon? If there was an announcement for a Devil May Cry 6, which people are talking about, Nintendo Switch 2 might get a 3-pack, 4, 5, and 6. They might give a 3-pack of Resident Evils 2, 3, and 4 re-releases. Like, Capcom is totally married to Nintendo. They always have been. Nintendo was the first major home console platform that Capcom really released, like the Mega Men, Street Fighters, all that shit. That was they're like this, Nintendo and Capcom. It's like Bandai Namco too. Bandai Namco is pretty close with Nintendo, which is why I'm surprised. So I guess neither one of them think they can really make any money out of it. I'm surprised that they have not announced the re-release of Code Vein or Code Vein 2. Now, I personally wouldn't play those games. They look like crap. But it's a surprise that it hasn't been announced. To an extent, too, Tecmo works directly with Nintendo. I'm surprised Neo hasn't been announced. Now, I don't like Neo at all. Didn't like the first one. I did like the vampire chick, though. The boss, she was stunning. But other than that, I couldn't stand that game. Yeah, Code Vein doesn't. I'm surprised, which makes me wonder if they think they can make any money. But then they made a second one, and the second one's not coming out on the Switch 2, from what I know. Let's take a look at that one. Let me see, because there are always people trying to rumor. There we go. Right, so this was released. The second one was released. Famitsu says, I can see it like it's already out on Switch 2. But yeah, like I was with the whole Indie Direct, so many of these popular channels, they were making it seem as if Nintendo had to do something. Where I keep saying Nintendo doesn't have to do jack shit. They got a movie coming out that's going to make over $1 billion in 5 minutes. They have an educational series of Mario toys for like infants and toddlers. They have their own theme park. And the Switch 2 is still breaking records. Now there is news that it's nearing 20 million, which I think it already hit. It was over 19 million retail sales, I think, by last month or something. So it's breaking records. There's software selling like crazy. There's no reason for Nintendo to rush anything out and say, hey, yo, we got rumors. But apparently these people make it seem as if they got to do something for the fans, which they make the best hardware and the best games. What more do you have to do for your fans? But I found it hilarious that somebody mentioned when they were talking about a General Direct, a huge one that was going to announce all these different things. Somebody mentioned or joked, yeah, it'll be an indie showcase. And sure enough, that's what we got. We got an indie showcase. I was hoping that one of these other rumored games like Claire Obscure or Stellar Blade or one of those, I was hoping that would have been announced because those are independent companies, more or less. But nah, it's all right. Whatever. I don't see, like me, I wouldn't play those games. It's just if it has to validate the Switch 2 for all these so-called gamers, then why not, man? Get everything ported on the Switch 2 for me. I want to get rid of all this so-called competition. Now Sony is finally acting as if, oh yeah, we think Nintendo's competition. Dude, you've been fucking trying to sell that you are for adults and Nintendo's for kids since the PlayStation 1. Don't act like you completely bypass. Nintendo is the only other company that sells 100 million consoles per generation. Microsoft has never hit that. To make it seem as if Microsoft's Xbox was competition to Sony because of graphical processing or whatever, the consoles and the software didn't dictate that. Now, as I've mentioned, this is a gaming business. The only things that matter, not for the fans, but for anybody that wants to talk about success, is the amount of consoles or units sold. That's all that matters in this. So if the best you can come up with ever in all your console generations, and now there's a rumor that there's another console that they're making that's going to be $1,200, and they call it a hybrid, I'm going, no, it's not a hybrid. It is a portable that you link off of the PC. That is not a fucking hybrid. That's not what the Switch 2 is. It's not what the Switch 1 is. Switch 1 is, it could be portable, or it could be a home console. As I've said a million times, I have never played a game portably. I don't have to. I use the dock. The dock is plugged into the TV. The chip switches and it becomes a home console. It processes at a home console rate that is equal, not so much to the PlayStation 5, which boasted 8K processing or graphical fidelity, which, by the way, doesn't matter because no game plays in 8K, not even any of theirs. But it also has 120 frames per second capacity. It has the GPUs and all that stuff that match all those consoles. So, like I said, I laugh when these so-called Nintendo types are having, like, you know, a conniption fit how Resident Evil Requiem looks great on the Switch 2. Yeah, that's why the Switch 2 was released, to play those games. That's the point. That's it. You solved the problem, right? For how many years did I hear people tell me when I was saying the Switch 1 is the best console when it was just the Switch? Yeah, but they really have to upgrade the hardware. Well, they did. Now they can play these games. And now you're seeing how all these companies are coming back to Nintendo because they know the games are going to sell. They know this. Resident Evil Requiem may not sell on the Switch 2 when it sells on the PlayStation 5, whatever, because Nintendo and Capcom have not had Resident Evil releases in a long time. The cloud versions or whatever don't count. We're talking about day one Resident Evil releases. This has not happened in a long time. So now you got to get those people back. But like when you have Monster Hunter or something like that, or Street Fighter, if you get a Street Fighter game, like I think the Street Fighter 6 sold a lot, not just because the Japanese fan base or whatever, but just because the fact that, like, we played Street Fighter on Super Nintendo and everything. We played Street Fighter with Capcom for years. I had no idea there was a Resident Evil 2 on Nintendo 64. I knew about Resident Evil 0. I knew about the re-release of 1. Those games I got, of course, we all knew about 4, and it sold shit tons of units on the Wii when it was released, originally a GameCube game. But there's still that audience that doesn't see Nintendo as the Resident Evil company or even the Capcom company. But they still sell. Resident Evil Requiem is still selling on the Switch 2. So they're going to keep releasing their games on the Switch 2. Yeah, I had no idea about that one. I had no idea about that one. I had no idea of a lot of games that were released on GameCube, which, by the way, GameCube was much better than PlayStation 2. Much better in terms of its graphical processing and everything. And it didn't scratch your discs. And it had much better exclusives. Much better exclusives. Like Luigi's Mansion. Much better than anything Sony ever produced. Unless you want to watch a movie that makes you depressed and want to hang yourself while you're taking, pills, that's up to you. It's going to be the same story anyway. But yeah, when people get surprised, wow, I can't get over how it looks on the Switch 2. Why not? We saw demos. Switch 2 is made for this. Somebody asked, this is probably the best in Switch 2 can. No, it's not the best Switch 2 can do. There were games that were released on the Switch 1 that I was like, wow, this console is 10 times more powerful. 10 times. It can play any game. So the concept of, well, can it handle this, that, and the other thing? It's going to handle, you'll see, because all these games are getting ported. They're all coming out. It's like Red Dead Redemption 2. It's going to get ported. Grand Theft Auto 6. It's going to get ported. In fact, people were rumoring that that's why it's getting pushed back again, because they're trying to integrate on the Switch 2. Divinity, going to get ported again. Anything Bethesda releases, like I said, if they make an Elder Scrolls 6, which they've been talking about for years, guess what it's going to be? Like every game is coming out on the Switch 2. So you don't need any PlayStations. You don't need these gigantic cabinets or whatever. You can just get that little console and you'll be fine. So, oh yeah, no, it's the rumor from what I've heard is it's pretty much on. It's rumored. It's not announced specifically, but it's more or less like done. Let me just take a look. Right, like the update of 1. Right, that's 1. Right there, just 1. Yeah, I mean, one of these guys that I was going to talk about said it was going to happen at the end of last year. And that's what I was going to say about the Indies showcase that I laughed about. Was these guys keep making it seem like Nintendo has to make these announcements. They make the most ridiculous announcements. And I'm going, do they have to make these directs for the fans or for you to be right? Whether it's Nate the Hate or, what was the other one? Like all these guys, like they keep coming up with one rumor after another, and they're saying direct is coming and the direct is coming. And there could be a direct coming. There could be a massive direct coming in the next couple of weeks. Mario is going to have its anniversary. Zelda's having an anniversary. There are rumors that they're going to re-release Ocarina of Time, and there are rumors that they're making a new Zelda 3D game. Now, I don't know what I was looking at, if somebody was a fan-made game or something like that, but it looked pretty interesting. The truth of the matter is, there's also a rumor that Super Metroid's being re-released. If Super Metroid gets re-released, I'm going to have a coronary, because that's one of the greatest games ever made. It's one of my favorite games. That's like my favorite series and probably the best version of it. So if it was re-released, holy shit. Holy shit. I'd be doing this stream like that day. But there are so many rumors of re-releases and whatever. We'll figure it out when we get the only thing that I want to know right now, when the fuck are you going to be done with Elden Ring Tarnished Edition there from Sub? When is this happening? Because I was on good authority that, and this was not Nash Weedle or any of these guys, I was on good authority that because From Software usually does things on March, April, that either sometime this month or next month, I'm still saying that most likely there is going to be a huge announcement involving From Software and Nintendo sometime in the near future. Maybe in a direct, who knows? But we're going to have to find out when Tarnished Edition is coming out and when Duskbloods is coming out. And from what's getting more and more leaked about the Duskbloods, it seems like it could be, as I was saying a few weeks ago, it could be that next big From Software game, which would make all the anti-Nintendo types cry their little eyes out. Oh no! The only games that get me excited in life, even though I've had everything handed to me. I'm so rich, I've got too much, and I'm so bored with life. Since all I have is From Software games on the Switch 2, the kids' console. No. It'll make me so happy. And listen, if Miyazaki's behind it, it's most likely going to be, you could say, well, Sekiro, which I still think is coming out on the Switch 2. The reason why I think Sekiro is coming out on the Switch 2 is because of the fact that it just makes so much sense to me. It's about feudal Japan. I think you got to like whet the appetites. Dark Souls being remastered didn't really do it. It tilted, but Switch One didn't get that much support. But I think Elden Ring Tarnished Edition and the Duskbloods will introduce people that are Nintendo types. Listen, excuse me. For so many years, the Nintendo fan base has been limited to just like people like me who've been playing Nintendo games since we were kids, or people that just know Mario, Zelda. They don't realize how thoroughly advanced their libraries have been. And granted, Nintendo 64 didn't have much. Even I didn't know some of the games that were released on the GameCube. But when everybody was obsessed with the compact discs and whatever. So there are some games that people don't assimilate with Nintendo consoles. And there are some games that people do. Like the Warriors games or Monster Hunter, which also came out on the handhelds. Or even Shin Megami Tensei in Japan anyway. There were a lot of SMT games that came out on Nintendo consoles exclusively, especially the handhelds. And there are rumors of the fourth one being re-released. Of course, there'll be a re-release of Persona 4. I don't care about that. Of course, there's going to be a Persona 6. Don't care about that one either. But there are rumors of all these re-releases, not just on the Switch 2 specifically, but then there will be others that will be on the Switch 2 specifically because they have to catch up. So there are a lot of amazing things that could be happening within the next month. Does Nintendo need a Direct? No. Nintendo does not need a Direct to tell you about all this. Nintendo has their channel on YouTube. Nintendo has their website. As I've always said before, we're getting to that point where it's like Christmas if you're a Nintendo type. If you have the Switch 2, you just, Nintendo of America has an update. What is it? And most likely it's going to be something huge because that's just what this console is now. It is the console, and that's why it's breaking records. So with the more consoles, more Switch 2s that are being sold, and the more people are getting acclimated into what's getting released on it, you're going to see what's getting announced. But I think the thing that's holding up, I know that Red Dead Redemption 1 got a Switch 2 re-release like Divinity Original Sin 2 got. And what was the other company? Because the rumors of Baldur's Gate 3 coming on the Switch 2 they've been running rampant for pretty much since its release. But Witcher 3 getting a re-release probably. That's sort of the precursor with Cyberpunk. Sort of the precursor that Witcher 4 is coming out on the Switch 2, which I believe is totally in the works. They haven't announced anything about that other than that one trailer. So I'm almost 100% sure that that's coming out on the Switch 2. I think Witcher 3 did pretty well on the Switch 1, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Witcher 3 Switch sales. Wow. It sold 700,000 in the first year on the Switch 1. Sold 60 million copies. Can you imagine that shit? You do the math on that, man. Let me take a look. Yeah, so it sold like well over 1 million on Switch 1. And that was with all the rumors of like, oh, it looks like shit. I keep telling everybody, I played on the PlayStation 4 when it first came out. It looked exactly the same. Played exactly the same too. Right, 60 million. And we'll say $60. They made billions off that game. Jeez. How much did let's see. Cyberpunk Switch 2 sales. See what that did. I don't have a number, but it was strong. 75% were physical. 1.6. Okay, so Cyberpunk broke the PlayStation 5 record on Switch 2. And it came out how many years after? 5? So this is why they want to release their games on Switch too, because they know they're going to sell. And Requiem is going to sell. See, what people have to realize, like what they were saying about Metroid Prime 4, which was idiotic because Metroid Prime games don't sell. But people have to realize that games are not movies. Games don't just disappear after a week. Right. Yeah. No, it was closer. Right. Yeah. It's been over 1,020,000. Yeah. It was freaking ridiculous. But video games are not where you want the opening gate. It doesn't matter. You don't have to sell 1 billion copies in the first day. They sit on shelves. You just have to outbuy what's on shelves. And the thing that people don't seem to understand is like with Requiem, the reason why Requiem's numbers on the Switch 2 are not impressive per se is because they didn't produce that many units for the Switch 2. They produced a majority of the units for the PlayStation 5. Now, to let you know, when I went to pick up, because I pre-order these things as soon as I can, when I went to pick up Requiem last week, there was a guy that somehow got in front of me, and he asked for it on PlayStation 5, and the guy working behind the counter said, "You're lucky because we have a lot for PlayStation 5. Every other version is sold out." So the main reason why Requiem hasn't killed it overall in terms of physical sales, which is all they really register, they don't register digital, is because of the fact that there weren't that many copies for the Switch 2. Now they have to produce more. So the Switch 2 version sold out pretty much everywhere. So it may not look like the numbers are there, but they sold out everywhere. And that's not digital sales. So, I found it hilarious that we had a really good indie. There are a lot of very interesting games. Let me see if I can look up some of them. Some of the games that were announced, right? They're talking about the Direct. There's going to be a Mario Galaxy Direct on Monday. I will not be able to see it. I don't like to see too much. The movie's an hour and a half. Let's just see. So let's take a look. Where is the update on indie sales? Games. It's Mario Day already? Diablo 2's out on the Switch 2. Let's see what's coming up. I don't really have anything. I'm not really mentioning anything here. Metal Gear Solid games. No thanks. Why am I not signed in? Log in. Oh, I'm going to have to do that. Forget it. Anyway. All right, guys. So, yeah, that's what we're doing today. That's what I was talking about. I just found it funny that these people were going nuts about how they have to have a direct and they got an indie showcase. We're having another direct about the movie on Monday because you can buy tickets Monday. I have to get in contact with my friend Scott. We're supposed to be going to see it together. I did not see the first one in the theaters. I've seen it. That is to say, I've seen it, but I didn't see it when it came out in theaters. It's coming out on a Wednesday, and it's actually coming out on the 24th of April in Japan. So I guess they're trying to, I don't know, temper the madness. But yeah, I just find it funny that these people, like, they have to make it as if Nintendo is in dire straits. Guys, Nintendo's doing better than anybody, and it's going to keep doing better than anybody. So they don't need to do shit. And Nintendo's not the type to throw something together on a whim. They plan these things out thoroughly. They know exactly what they want to do. There may be a direct in the next few weeks. There could be one in April. Who knows? The only thing I'm concerned with myself, Tarnished Edition, when the hell's it coming out? I got my money waiting for it. I want to buy it. I want to play it. I want to scream and yell and threaten people. I want to stream it on my gaming channel, play it on my gaming channel, stream it on Twitch. And I just need to know when. Duskbloods, the idea was the end of the year. So I can wait for that. It's Elden Ring. And then I want to see what else is going to happen. And there may be, sooner or later, a creator's voice special for Miyazaki, in which case he'll tell you personally how Ocarina of Time was the greatest game he ever played. So, yeah, we'll see what happens this week. I will most likely, I'm going to talk about the movie next week, but that may or may not be the main plot of the stream. But thank you all for hanging out with me. You guys are the best. Remember, we're on our road to 800 subscribers after about 13 years. Is it? No. I'm sorry, 17 years. 17 years. You have a great weekend, guys. You too, Maria. I'm sure I'll see Cheryl when I go back to work. Take care, everybody, and enjoy the coming spring. It's coming soon. And we'll see what happens in the next few days, because I know usually when it comes to the video game industry, shit just gets announced. So I'll keep you up to date when I see you next week.